The Ravens do take on the Bills that game in Buffalo. You never know what the weather will be like, but it'll be full of adversity, I'm sure. The Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs connection has been red hot all season long. Yesterday, Ravens head coach John Harbaugh was asked about Diggs, the former fifth-rounder out of Maryland, and, of course, his impact ahead of this game on Saturday night.
We just missed on him, too. You know, obviously, we could have drafted him up until that point, and we didn't. So I don't remember the exact details of it, but unfortunately, that's when they got away. But he's a great player, great guy, local guy. All the respect in the world for him as a player. He's definitely a factor. I mean, he's I don't want to say public enemy, but he's Ravens enemy number one right now, or maybe number two, or maybe number three. They got a few of them over there, but he's a guy we got to keep a good eye on.
I'd say Diggs led the league in catches and receiving yards on a Buffalo team that was lighting up scoreboards really, Nate, all season long. Can the Ravens keep up with this high-powered Bills offense?
Yeah, but they might not have to keep up. Maybe they just slow down the game. The Ravens can run the rock, and that's a recipe for success in the playoffs, especially in conditions like this. We are talking about how cold it's going to be. It's going to be nippy. Is it going to snow? You have Lamar Jackson, who over the last part of the season really started to take the game in his own hands, and you have a group of running backs that can make plays. I mean, that 400-yard rushing game, that wasn't just a message to the team. I believe that was a message to the rest of the NFL, saying we can't do it all. We can do it in the air and do it on the ground. Bills offense, high power for sure. But how do you pull the plug on a high-powered offense? You just run the rock, and you let that clock tick, tick, tick down while Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and all those superstars are on the sideline. This wouldn't be the first time the Ravens pulled the plug on a high-powered offense. We remember that Super Bowl back in 2013 when the lights literally went out.
Yeah, they did.
That's a good call, man.
I also remember 7 days ago where this Titans offense was coming off this great win against the Texans and Derrick Henry's 2,000-yard season and A.J. Brown going absolutely bonkers. They scored 13 points against the Ravens. Nate, you're spot on. They could control this game so that it doesn't get to be a shootout, and they don't have to score enough. I honestly think if this game's in the 30s, I think Buffalo wins. This game has to be in the 20s or in the teens for the Ravens to win, and they can do that because of J.K. Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, and what this offense brings. They just run the ball so well, whether it's Gus Edwards or Dobbins or that breakout play that Jackson has. And I'll tell you, that one team that has really stuck it to the Bills was the Kansas City Chiefs, and how they did it was running the football. I've brought this game up a few times this week. Clyde Edwards-Helaire went for 161 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on 30 carries. Josh Allen barely touched the ball in the second half, and the Bills could not get the Chiefs off the field. That's how you beat the Bills, especially in their building, especially in potentially some less than ideal conditions, because if it gets into the 30s, Josh Allen will throw all over you all day long, and I don't think Lamar Jackson can win that kind of game.
Okay. This guys, we're at like football prediction 101 here. It's, well, if they run the ball, then come on. The answer is no. I don't think they can keep up with him. The question is, if Josh Allen gets cooking and Diggs is doing his thing and the Bills are scoring, no, they cannot. If they get up 13-0, they get up 10, I don't think Baltimore can do that. And I love Lamar. He's the MVP. He's awesome. I don't think he can do that. This is the big boys now. Like, this is the divisional round. This is not the Titans. This is not anybody. They ran for 400 yards. I don't even remember who was against Jacksonville. Like, who cares? This is Buffalo. Absolutely not. I think the only way, I think this game will be decided on the Ravens D, and if they can make Josh Allen blink. If Josh Allen is going to cough this thing up, is he going to mess this thing up? Because I think Buffalo is a better team. I think they has a better offense. This is how this game will be lost. This type of stuff. We've called him out all season, Sugar High Josh Allen, and we thought he was dead. We thought, no way, he's mature. This was a terrible, terrifying cameo, and it's not just the reckless, crazy Sugar High Josh Allen stuff that we say where sometimes he throws you one. And earlier this week, Mike Robinson did this beautiful breakdown of all these incredible throws by Josh Allen, and I came with it almost a little worried.
Let me hear.
The throws were like really cocky. Like, unbelievably arrogant throws in his arm, like, dude, don't throw that. Okay, you threw it, but like, I don't know if I'll throw that against Baltimore. They had a little Favrean quality to it, where like, I think I can throw it through cinder blocks and I'm gonna do it.
Little Pat Mahomes.
A lot of Pat Mahomes, except like, I saw Brett Favre lose a lot of playoff games on some crazy interception. That was the legend of Favre. I don't think the Ravens can keep up with the Bills if the Bills get cooking, but I think they can make Josh Allen make mistakes. I think that's how the game is won.
Yeah, I don't think scoring is going to be a problem for either. I mean, this is the only team scoring more over the past 5 weeks than the Bills is the Ravens. The Ravens can put up points. They're averaging 37.2 points over the last 5 weeks. They're 1-2, these offenses. It'll be mistakes. Do you agree with that, Triggs? It'll come over to turnovers.
They did that against the Giants.
I think
the Jaguars and the Bengals. This is
big boys.
These are the big boys.
I think the defenses, these two, are so opportunistic that they're just going to be waiting for both of them to mess up. I mean, Lamar Jackson got away with an interception.
Big time.
Against the Titans. Let's say he makes mistakes too. He misses on a couple of those throws. It'll be, to me, it's like limiting mistakes on both quarterbacks.
Big time. Especially with Lamar. Nate, I know you love Lamar. We all do.
Yeah.
You telling me if this game is 13-0 Bills, 17-3 Bills, Lamar's got this? It's tough.
Didn't Lamar prove this last week? That he can come from behind?
He did, but not to Buffalo.
Up against the Titans.
Last week ain't doing nothing for me.
34-23 in the third quarter. Can they do it then?
Lamar answered those questions last week. I feel like they can.
I agree.
The question is, if the Bills are up, do you have more faith in the Bills closing out the game than Lamar making a comeback? I trust the Bills closing out the game. And that isn't an indictment on Lamar anymore. That's just saying the Bills are that good.
Whose defense do you trust more?
Oh, Baltimore's defense is really good. But listen, Brian Tannehill last week, he's great. He ain't Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's a superstar right now. I don't want to play him. I think he has.
He is playing out of his mind. I like your weather take, Triggs. If it was colder, you'd like the Ravens a little bit more. Got to keep our eye on that weather bug thing. In the meantime, you'll take us back in time, sir?
There is an incredible quarterback matchup in the AFC with the other game. Baker and Mahomes.
Oh, this game.
And let me tell you something. These guys go back. They go back nearly a decade. We get into it. We're going to have a nice little conversation about the history that they share.
I heard someone yesterday say
Get ready for the weekend. Let's go! Every Saturday morning, our crew is serving up the latest news and the hottest takes.
Those two dudes gonna be rolling, man.
Caught! Touchdown! Good Morning Football Weekend. Tomorrow at 9.
Again, Ian, I would love a couple of things from you. Thank you for being here with us all morning long with all of this news. What's the update on Arthur Smith, and can you catch us up on how the Urban Meyer deal is coming along?
Now, let's start with the Arthur Smith situation, which really could break, it seemed. At any point this morning, all eyes are focused on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Arthur Smith, from what I understand, was the top choice of the Falcons really all along. I mean, they brought him in for a second interview. He took some other trips, but this really was the guy that they appeared focused on. And he had a visit set with the Detroit Lions this morning. That visit is now off. The Atlanta Falcons have been in discussions with Arthur Smith since late last night. It seems like this is something that could go down this morning, with Arthur Smith ending up as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, we will be monitoring that very closely. As far as the Urban Meyer situation, he is now a done deal, finally in Jacksonville. The belle of the ball here for coaches, the guy who I think so many people were focused on, certainly the owners for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Shad Khan and Tony Khan. They knew ever since they fired Doug Marrone this was going to be their guy. They brought him on the yacht. They had a great meeting on the yacht, met with him again yesterday, and he landed in Jacksonville finally mid-afternoon to a Jaguars welcome mat. The deal wasn't done yet, but he walked onto a welcome mat, and then a couple hours later the deal got done. Shad Khan called it a great day for Jacksonville, one of the most successful head coaches on the college level, now heads to the NFL to tackle that challenge.
Appreciate the updates there. Ian will have you with us. He's, of course, never coached in the NFL on any level, not as an intern, not as a scout, not as an anything concerned. If that's going to be a legit concern of Jags fans going forward, we appreciate you. And the Jags social media posted this photo of their big screen saying, hey, Urban Meyer is already lighting up the scoreboard. They seem excited. Kyle, are you excited?
Very excited. I have to be honest, today is the day of predictions in the NFL. I'm going to predict today that next year the Jacksonville Jaguars will have a winning record.
Yeah?
I believe this is what Urban Meyer does. This is what he does. This is a guy who went to Bowling Green in the MAC and gave them one of the greatest turnarounds, fastest turnarounds ever. And then he goes to Utah, shows up, immediately coach of the year, has one of their greatest seasons ever, produces a #1 overall draft pick who's going to win Comeback Player of the Year this year. And then he goes to Florida. 2 national championships, guys, with Tim Tebow at quarterback, who proved to have a lot of limitations. And he's like, I haven't wrecked the Big Ten yet. I'll show up. Immediately kills it. There he is with Zeke. National championship with Cardale Jones, who also had huge limitations. This guy shows up, wreck shops, And then he leaves. So Jacksonville, I can't promise this is going to be prosperity for the next 10 years, but I will be willing to bet he shows up in Jacksonville and shakes things up and wins next year, and he is the #1 pick. Wow.
Immediately, there's a championship air in the building. As soon as he walks in, guys are going to respect that because that's exactly what he reflects. He reflects winning on a different level, of course. But I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. College coaches coming in, especially the successful ones, you're going to have to do even better job to motivate these guys that are